Hey there, amplifiers. In the marketing world, you may have heard the term content is king. Well, in the real world, cash is king. Ultimately, you can have a lot of content, but if you don't have enough cash to keep your business running, you're going to run right into a wall. So what we're going to focus on today is really making sure that we're paying attention to cash flow, because it makes a big difference. And our guest today is a rock star professional when it comes to numbers and accounting. He works with the firm of H2R CPA, and I'd like to welcome to Growth Amplifiers, Ed Scherer.
Oh, good morning. Thank you. And I'm glad to be here today. And, as we've stated, there's going to be a real change in the marketplace over the next 6 months, 18 months, whatever, that are different than what we've had in the last 6 months or so, and going back a year or two. So what we've found with a lot of our organizations is, yes, cash is king. If you have the cash, you can do the functions and perform as you would like. With this uncertain world and uncertainties that are happening, we've talked to a number of our clients and a number of people about the fact that, look, what happened 6, 8, 12, 18 months ago isn't necessarily going to happen in the next period going forward. So really taking that historic information and now applying it to what you think is going to happen in the next 6 to 18 months, and really to track that. So what that means is, okay, let's look at sales. Mm-hmm. What do we think sales are? If they're on credit or if they're going to turn, then you need a turn rate that's going to turn from AR into cash. On expenses, again, look at them and say, okay, what do we believe our expense rate is normally, or what we believe it's going to be in the future, and how are we budgeting for that? So when the money comes in, when the money goes out, and really making those two and marrying them together, and looking at them again, in addition to just the cash flow part. But if you have made a budget in which you perceive the budget to be, how does that function in the cash flow?
Right. I know some people, you got different camps. Different
Right.
People have been through this last year differently. Some of them have had a lot of challenges. Some have had too many challenges, and some have actually done pretty well. But the thing is, regardless of where you're at, it makes total sense. You've got to put some focus and attention on where you're going. And if you don't, like I said, you could run right into the wall. So what are some of the common things that you're seeing that people may just overlook or misunderstand?
I think one of the things people overlook is, your expenses. When you usually do a budget, people first look at it and say, okay, if my expense is $12,000 for the year, it's $1,000 a month. Mm-hmm. Simple math, they spread it out pro rata. In the real business sense, that usually doesn't happen. Mm-hmm. Things come in at different times and they go out at different times. So with a budget, it usually works well, and you see why you're up or down, and you say, well, it's a timing issue. Well, with cash flow, you have the same function, but you want to be a little bit more, shall we say, specific into the periods when it comes in or when it may go out. Now, if you have a business that isn't as cyclical, you may not have as many of these ups and downs. If you have something that is more consistent or ratable over the year, then you may not have as much fluctuation. And then the third component, which is the unknown component right now, is what's happening in the marketplace. If you're in the hospitality industry, day 1 to day 2, you don't know whether you're open or closed. You don't know what your capacity levels are. So you're consistently going to be making changes to this. If you were in the distribution business for, we have an alcohol producer. Mm-hmm. I mean, they couldn't get it out the door fast enough in March and April.
Wow.
Because of just, the demand, because everything was closed down. They couldn't go to their normal outlets, and they were able to sell in state. So, I mean, they were selling it, they, like I said, they couldn't produce it fast enough. Other marketplaces are going to have a different impact based on what's going on. But then the other side, like we said, is what do you try to estimate? What do you think you can estimate going forward? So I think that those estimates, they have to be grounded in some reality. You might want to have a range that you think I'm going to do between 10% increase and 20% increase, and maybe do one on both ends, knowing that it might come in the middle, or you may just want to, really project based on the minimum and be more conservative, especially in these uncertain times. I think the conservative nature aspect is more beneficial than being, okay, we're going to, betting on the come. We're going to do 30% increase in revenue. And so then you backfill, or you stage yourself to be able to have those extra employees or whatever the costs may be to be able to produce that kind of a revenue on an expectation. So you want to bring your expectations not down. You don't want people not reaching for the stars,
right?
But just maybe, you can ground them in reality, but we're reach for 10,000,
right?
But we'll plan for 2.
So when you can really take the time to look at your numbers and craft a plan, you can be proactive and make informed decisions, and actually really make sure that you're looking at the big picture versus just kind of winging it, which wouldn't really be very helpful. So for the people who are tuning in, if they wanted to learn more about what it is you do, maybe get some insights, where could they go, and what are some actions they could take?
Well, you could give us a call, obviously, at the H2RCPA.com, and just look us up on the web. But there's a lot of actual good resources out there. The AICPA.org has a number of them. Probably your state society does. If you live in an area where you're close to a university or what have you, a lot of them have entrepreneurial programs that they usually have outreach to the community. And so with a lot of our clients, we look at those as a supplement, depending upon their economic structure. They may be a little bit more inclined to go that route to get a little bit of, not necessarily guidance, but maybe a foot down the road and everything. And then we'll come in after that. But I think really talking to your professionals and the people that you have that either work for you or that, you engage as an outside third party really have a lot of benefit to you. And really, if you've been with them for a little bit of time or a significant amount of time, they have a really pretty good understanding of your business. And so, we always ask people to reach out to their professionals, the people that we work with, but we're always willing to help somebody and talk to them because, we're about no different than yourself. The people that are on this podcast and are tuning in are looking to grow their business and are looking to improve upon what they're doing. And so that's what we like to do as well.
Excellent. There you go. Go to H2RCPA.com. That's H, the number 2, RCPA.com. Ed, thank you so much for sharing some insights and giving us some things to pay attention to as we're all moving forward together, looking to grow and sustain. Thank you. Appreciate you.
Thank you.
To show your support, take a moment to amplify this message by sharing it online. To connect with me or gain more business growth insights, visit www.growthamplifiers.com. Thank you for your support.